100% clip. She played 31+ minutes. Look for her to get it going tonight.
Set to go. Exhibition action at the Lloyd Noble Center. Hoops has arrived. Reagan Beers taps it back and controls it for Peyton Verhulst. Good movement and a quick post up. Beers right up left-handed and in with her first bucket in a Sooner uniform. A look at the lineup for Oklahoma Christian tonight. We, of course, talked a little bit about Kate Bradley trying to slash in. Also got Taylor Jackson, the second leading returning scorer for this team to keep an eye on. And be a few new pieces who transferred in to Oklahoma Christian.
Well, Chad, one thing we noticed, it did not take long when the OU Sooners come out here. That time, Beers established great low post position, left hand over the right shoulder. We'll see a lot of that.
Kind of a combo guard. She'll do a lot of that as well. A little short with the three-point try, and Skylar Van scrapes up the rebound. Sooners starting lineup. We mentioned Van and Beers on the floor together. Nevaeh Tot, who led the Big 12 in assist-to-turnover ratio a year ago. And right there, the improvement, working on it in the offseason for the sophomore. And that was a good stroke. Looked good out of the corner for Sahara Williams.
Great one more pass right there by Nevaeh Tot, which she always does. And Sahara made 14 of those last year. I bet that number goes up this year, Chad.
She may make more in the first week this year.
I would not argue that.
There's Cullum finding the rim and finding the first bucket of the night for Oklahoma Christian. Sooners the other way. Sahara Williams. I wore loafers tonight. I should have worn track shoes.
I think I've got some. I could get out and run if I have to, Chad.
Verhulst pulls the trigger and is rebounded by Taylor Jackson. Now maybe Keith Brown's team will settle in a little bit in the half court. Nice screen there by Jordan Francisco. Jackson got trapped. This is Caitlin Jordan, little lefty jump hook, and into the lap of Beers.
That's what she does. Gobbled up 10 of those rebounds per game at Oregon State last year.
Sahara Williams a little short with that try. Jackson another rebound. It's the second leading returning scorer, kind of that energy player and a big rebounder is Taylor Jackson. Markeith Brown said she is our grit.
He did. He called her that lanky lefty that gets a lot done right there in that paint.
And Verhulst's going to be called for fouling Taylor Jackson, in fact.
That was a good job flashing to that elbow right there and that high-low kind of dump down pass. And talking to Coach Brown, Chad, he said that they were going to come out and they wanted to compete and kind of work on doing what they do. And right there, that was a good job in the half court.
Jenny Baranczyk sending in her first substitutes of the night. Liz Scott, the senior, is in there, and Lexi Keys, also senior. They both entered the lineup. The lefty stroke is in and out. And here's Jenny Baranczyk, 10th ranked Sooners. The move to the SEC, we were talking to her about that. Everybody asking, what's the SEC going to be like? And she said, well, how about this? We're number 10 in the country and picked 4th in the preseason poll in the Southeastern Conference.
Welcome to the SEC, Chad. I'll tell you what, though. What about the luxury of bringing Liz Scott in after setting out all of last year? As we said, there she is right on cue.
Called for a travel, but just great to see Liz Scott back after the shoulder injury that sidelined her all of last season. She was such a big part of it, though. A coach, I mean, she had a whistle in practice, but Pooh, she really only got cleared for contact in the month of September. So this is even still kind of new to Liz.
It really is. And Chad, think about it. 15 double-doubles in 2022-23. 9.6 boards, and you're bringing her in off the bench. A veteran like Liz Scott. I mean, what a luxury for these Sooners.
Pull up and pop by the kid Cullum, and she rinsed that one right through there. We're tied at 5.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, Will Rogers High School, the Roper.
Verhulst triggers one home the other way for the Sooners, and it's 8-5 Oklahoma. What a versatile player that Peyton Verhulst is. Kind of the barometer for this Oklahoma team.
Well, I mean, they averaged 20 assists a game last season, and you see why. You really have 3 potential point guards on the floor right now with Nevaeh Tot, Lexi Keys, and Peyton Verhulst.
And the rip there by Lexi Keys to get the steal. And the extra pass and a wide open Nevaeh Tot drills a Sooner 3.
Did we just say how that ball pops and moves, Chad? They share the ball as well or better than anyone in the country.
Yes, they do, and have since Jenny Baranczyk arrived in Norman. Nevaeh Tot has helped spark a 6-0 run for Oklahoma. It's back-to-back threes by Verhulst and Totten. A good start here, Poop.
I mean, the hot potato has been popping, Chad, and now you look up, Sooners 11, Oklahoma Christian 5.
Expectations are there, but they are ready for it. And for Oklahoma Christian, Markeith Brown shaping the roster the way he wants it. Who do you expect maybe to be kind of a key piece or two for this team?
Chad, talking to Coach Brown, he mentioned Kate Bradley out of Bixby, Oklahoma. He said Kate was the heartbeat of this team. She averaged 8 points a game, shot 5 threes per game last year at a 33% clip. She played 31-plus minutes. Look for her to get it going tonight.
Set to go. Exhibition action at the Lloyd Noble Center. Hoops has arrived. Reagan Beers taps it back and controls it for Peyton Verhulst. Good movement and a quick post-up. Beers right up left-handed and in with her first bucket in a Sooner uniform. A look at the lineup for Oklahoma Christian tonight. We, of course, talked a little bit about Kate Bradley trying to slash in. Also got Taylor Jackson, the second leading returning scorer for this team to keep an eye on. And be a few new pieces who transferred in to Oklahoma Christian.
Well, Chad, one thing we noticed, it did not take long when the OU Sooners come out here. That time, Beers established great low post position, left hand over the right shoulder. We'll see a lot of that this year.
This is Bradley out high. Nakia Cullum. Bradley, kind of a combo guard. She'll do a lot of that as well. A little short with the three-point try, and Skylar Van scrapes up the rebound. Sooners starting lineup. We mentioned Van and Beers on the floor together. Nevaeh Tot, who led the Big 12 in assist-to-turnover ratio a year ago. And right there, the improvement, working on it in the offseason for the sophomore. And that was a good stroke. Looked good out of the corner for Sahara Williams.
Great one more pass right there by Nevaeh Tot, which she always does. And Sahara made 14 of those last year. I bet that number goes up this year, Chad.
She may make more in the first week this year.
I would not argue that.
There's Cullum finding the rim and finding the first bucket of the night for Oklahoma Christian. Sooners the other way. Sahara Williams. I wore loafers tonight. I should have worn track shoes.
I think I've got some. I could get out and run if I have to, Chad.
Verhulst pulls the trigger and is rebounded by Taylor Jackson. Now maybe Markeith Brown's team will settle in a little bit in the half court. Nice screen there by Jordan Francisco. Jackson got trapped. This is Caitlin Jordan, little lefty jump hook, and into the lap of Beers.
That's what she does. Gobbled up 10 of those rebounds per game at Oregon State last year.
Sahara Williams a little short with that try. Jackson another rebound. It's the second leading returning scorer, kind of that energy player and a big rebounder is Taylor Jackson. Markeith Brown said she is our grit.
He did. He called her that lanky lefty that gets a lot done right there in that paint.
And Verhulst going to be called for fouling Taylor Jackson, in fact.
That was a good job getting flashing to that elbow right there and that high-low kind of dump down pass. And talking to Coach Brown, Chad, he said that they were going to come out and they wanted to compete and kind of work on doing what they do. And right there, that was a good job in the half court.
Jenny Baranczyk sending in her first substitutes of the night. Liz Scott, the senior, is in there, and Lexi Keys, also senior. They've both entered the lineup. The lefty stroke is in and out. And there's Jenny Baranczyk, 10th ranked Sooners. The move to the SEC, we were talking to her about that. Everybody asking, what's the SEC going to be like? And she said, well, how about this? We're number 10 in the country and picked 4th in the preseason poll in the Southeastern Conference.
Welcome to the SEC, Chad. I'll tell you what, though, what about the luxury of bringing Liz Scott in after setting out all of last year? As we said, there she is right on cue.
Called for a travel, but just great to see Liz Scott back after the shoulder injury that sidelined her all of last season. She was such a big part of it, though. A coach, I mean, she had a whistle in practice, but Pooh, she really only got cleared for contact in the month of September. So this is even still kind of new to Liz.
It really is. And Chad, think about it, 15 double-doubles in 2022-23, 9.6 boards, and you're bringing her in off the bench. A veteran like Liz Scott, I mean, what a luxury for these Sooners.
Pull up and pop by Nakia Cullum, and she rinsed that one right through there. We're tied at 5.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, Will Rogers High School, the Roper.
Verhulst triggers one home the other way for the Sooners, and it's 8-5 Oklahoma. What a versatile player that Peyton Verhulst is kind of the barometer for this Oklahoma team.
Well, I mean, they averaged 20 assists a game last season, and you see why. You really have 3 potential point guards on the floor right now with Nevaeh Tot, Lexi Keys, and Peyton Verhulst.
And the rip there by Lexi Keys to get the steal. And the extra pass and a wide open Nevaeh Tot drills a Sooner 3.
Did we just say how that ball pops and moves, Chad? They share the ball as well or better than anyone in the country.
Yes, they do, and have since Jennie Baranczyk arrived in Norman. Nevaeh Tot has helped spark a 6-0 run for Oklahoma. It's back-to-back threes by Verhulst and Tot. A good start here, Poop.
I mean, the hot potato has been popping, Chad, and now you look up, Sooners 11, Oklahoma Christian 5.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with
Smooth transition to the Jennie Baranczyk era. They still communicate on a regular basis, and the banner hanging in the rafters for the Hall of Famer.
You see that look in her eye, that defensive intensity right there by Coach Cole?
Timeout taken by Markeith Brown and Oklahoma Christian. With Oklahoma in the midst of a 6-0 run, try to settle down his team.
Well, this is something that Coach Baranczyk talked about, Chad, is that they wanted to get better right here, digging into this half-court defensive set. And look at this lineup. We see young Zaya Van, first appearance as a Sooner.
Out there with her sister, Skylar. Shot clock is at 5. Zaya with a hand in the passing lane and a steal. Lexi Keys, an open look. That's home.
I mean, Chad, you cannot blink. That was a great pitch ahead by Zaya Van, and the Sooners have 5 assists on 5 made field goals. I kept saying they were one of the best. They were number 2 in the country at 20.1 assists per game, and now you see why. I mean, they played with at least 3 ball handlers at all times.
Here comes Verhulst, whipping it down court. Van runs and misses it. Crashing in comes Liz Scott, and it'll be out of bounds off of her. And more shuffling here. So it was a brief stint together for Skylar and Zaya Van. And now Williams and Beers return for the Sooners.
Well, one of the things that Coach Baranczyk talked about, you realize thanks to COVID, they're able to do this because they've never played together outside of in the backyard or at the rec center or some of that. But this is the first time that they played competitive basketball as teammates. And by the way, Peyton Verhulst, that pass was spectacular right there.
Yes, it was. And Oklahoma now with 4 assists on 5 made baskets. Here's Bradley, shot clock running down, and a traveling violation on CeCe Harris, freshman out of McKinney, Texas. CeCe Harris, a player that had some Division I program interest, and Markeith Brown said she is accustomed to playing against players at this level, played against some of these players in the AAU ranks before she decided she just wanted the environment that they have there in Edmond at Oklahoma Christian.
Well, talked about her athleticism and that she wouldn't be swallowed up by this Oklahoma level of athlete, and she can get out here and learn as a young freshman and compete.
So we've got Cambry Pape, who's entered the lineup, freshman out of Wagner, Oklahoma. Verhulst, I think she dribbled that one off of Markeith Brown. We'd have to get a look over there at the side. He was right there.
Paige's like, wait a minute, what just happened?
This is a Sooner run of 9-0. 3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes for Oklahoma Christian. And now it's in the hands of the freshman, Pape. Inside going to be tough in there. Putting it on the deck is Basila, and a traveling violation.
We got the travel cops out tonight early, even in the exhibition season, Chad. You know, that's a pet peeve of mine. You know, I always talk about those happy feet.
Good skip pass. Keys was wide open, but turned down the try. Now Sahara Williams. Beers, good deep post position, but lost it out of bounds. Going back and forth there with Adikia Basila in the low post. Size-wise, they're pretty equivalent.
I'll tell you what, though, that ball, as soon as it didn't take one dribble in the half-court set there, that was 4 out, 1 in, they really let Reagan get in there and try to work in that post. And they have so many good shooters that it's going to be tough to guard this year for any opponent.
Cullum is a little bit off the mark with that. Van sprints the other way. Beautiful dish, and Sahara Williams catches it in, and a foul.
Chad, that is just a playmaker making a play right there. Zaya Van, head and eyes were up. She crossed it left to right. We're about to see it. And that quick little bounce pass. The bounce pass is a finishing pass. And right there, Zaya Van looking beyond her years, the young freshman.
And Jenny Baranczyk said it's going to be hard to keep Zaya Van off the floor. In about 2 minutes on the floor, we've seen exactly why that is.
You know what? She also said she was a guard that could make a play. Did not necessarily mean she can score. She can make plays for others, but she makes plays. She makes the game easier. And right there, getting a little coaching right there by Coach Shannon Gage on the sideline.
11-0 Oklahoma run in progress as we move under 4 minutes left in the opening quarter. Nice feed inside. That was great ball movement, but unable to cash it in was Taylor Jackson. Keys goes to the other end. This is Aubrey Jones, who has entered the Oklahoma lineup. Williams turns. Beers there for the follow.
That is what Reagan Beers can do. She had 3.2 offensive rebounds per game out in Corvallis last season, and you add those 2.7 offensive rebounds that Skylar Van gets, Sooners going to be gobbling up a lot of those offensive boards, Chad.
Cullum will try a 2 for Oklahoma Christian, and that will clatter on out of bounds. The run extends to 13-0 for Oklahoma.
Well, Oklahoma Christian is really working that little wheel action. At that time, it got lost in transition. You do not want to lose Lexi Keys, though.
Collision underneath. Looks like everybody's okay as Beers under there collided with Jordan Francisco. They're both headed to the other end, fortunately. 3 minutes left. And here's Nakia Cullum. Cullum played behind a bunch of other players last year, and Markeith Brown said now this is her time to step forward as Jackson triggers. Long rebound out front. She got her own miss. All the way in on Beers and missed that one.
A little rim protection by Reagan, where she did get over 1 block per game last season at Oregon State.
Nevaeh Tot splashes home another Sooner 3. That's Oklahoma's 5th 3 in the opening quarter.
Nevaeh just looks like a coach on the floor. She's been here so long, she can finish Coach Baranczyk's sentences for her. So Coach had the best line of the day talking to her about Nevaeh's learned risk management.
Yeah.
I thought that was a line that veteran guards do very well.
Sahara Williams knocked that ball away. Jones, no. And a nice little tip rebound there by Taylor Jackson.
Great athleticism right there by Jackson.
There's some players on the floor needing a breather here. Everybody's still working their way into game shape, including us. Pompey with a dribble handoff. Caitlin Jordan, shot clock under 10. This is Francisco, blocked and taken by Beers. Running his Keys. Tot hits her, and the conversion.
Head and eyes up right there. Sooners always in attack mode. They are so dangerous in transition. And you're right, Chad. We're all practicing right now. This is an exhibition. It's still October, man. It's that time of the year, though. You can smell the hoops in the air, can't you?
You can. This game was once tied at 5. So that run is 18-0 put on by Oklahoma. Caitlin Jordan trying to be physical with that one. And Beers the retrieval. Tot ahead. Sahara Williams. Not this time. Caitlin Jordan will head back the other way.
The Sooners just put so much pressure on your transition defense. So they're coming up your back. I mean, they got their head and eyes up. They're putting that thing up in the air at all times. I mean, it is just nonstop pressure, Chad.
And if you're an opposing team, how do you simulate that in practice? There's the 18-0 run broken by Taylor Jackson, but how do you do it?
Well, I've seen a lot as Aubrey Jones fires his 3. We'll talk about it a little bit.
Sahara Williams is going to go to the free throw line. Reagan Beers off to a very good start in her exhibition debut as an Oklahoma Sooner.
Yes, she has, and she's done it all. She's been posting very strong. She's been active on the defensive end with block shots, and this is what she really does. Just carves out that space. 3 offensive rebounds a game. We talked about the defense. She has 2 blocks right now, and it triggers. Look at that. There's both of them right there. And the second one was so impressive by getting out on the perimeter, and it leads to that vaunted transition game that the Sooners.
In her way into game shape as well. but what a fit she's going to be. Oklahoma plays at such a high pace. Pooh, that's not going to be a problem for her fitting in. She'll
no,
right in there.
That's one of the things that Coach Baranczyk talked about, Chad, that, you know, this season goes, she's going to get better and more acclimated, and not just running plays, but playing the game, as we see that back cut right there.
And Cullum will go to the free throw line. Good find from out top by Taylor Jackson.
And that's something to keep an eye on, because the Sooners are trying to pick up their defensive intensity, and that's one of the things that Coach Baranczyk really talked about. They wanted to get better at doing and being more consistent as a great defensive team, because we know their offense. I mean, everyone knows that that's what Coach Jenny's teams do. But that time, Oklahoma Christian, the Eagles used that aggression against them, got him on the old back cut, and a great pass by Jackson, and Cullum is out here getting it in. The young player out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
She drops home both free throws. So the Eagles have somewhat gotten back on track. Shot clock is off to close out this opening quarter, and this is an area where Nevaeh Tot specializes.
It really is. She is a coach on the floor, and she makes plays. Great assist to turnover, just making the right decision.
Scott with the back cut goes hard, crashing to the floor. She banged into Cece Harris. And we hope that Liz is okay. She is a rugged player. Coming off that shoulder injury. Looks like she's all right.
I think she's okay. Sooners love that action, though. Flash to the high post, and they'll cut X, different splits. And that time, that was a game speed sprint by Liz Scott going right to the rack.
One thing that has not gone perfectly is the free throw line. Sooners 1 of 4 at the charity stripe in this opening period.
You saying that the Eagles are playing some good free throw defense?
They are.
Is that what you're saying?
Defensive free throw percentage is at a high. Tot to close the quarter. No. Look at Liz Scott back up, and she missed it. That would not have counted had it dropped. Good first quarter for the Oklahoma Sooners exhibition contest. In the middle of the period, they go on an 18-0 run and lead by 15 at the Lloyd Noble Center.
Amazon Fall favorites are
Oklahoma Sooners exhibition play with Oklahoma Christian tonight at the Lloyd Noble Center, and one of the things that the Sooners expect to do very well was on display in the opening quarter. Pooh, 5 of 11 from three-point range.
I mean, Chad, they are the one thing. Oh, look at these two. They're open. Extra pass. The one more right there by Nevaeh to Sahara. There's Nevaeh right there. Peyton Verhulst doing what she does. But just look, they're all in rhythm. They're all open, and it is because they're so unselfish. And Nevaeh has 2 of these made threes. And right there, Lexi Keys on the pitch ahead from Zaya. And that time, Nevaeh said, you know what, you guys aren't going to pick me up. I'm just going to rhythm up right out of transition and fire this 3 and keep it going. 5 for 11, big time by the Sooners.
Nevaeh Tot, 4th Sooner with 4 seasons of 100 or more assists. And shot it at 29% from three-point range a season ago, but her career numbers would tell you that she is better, more in the neighborhood of 34-35%. Just such a valuable component to this team. And one area is teaching the younger players. There are 2 freshmen on the roster. Of course, you got Zaya Van. And, you know, you don't necessarily have to tell the freshmen what you want them to do. You can say, watch Nevaeh and do what she does. How valuable is that?
You can't believe how valuable that is as a coach, where it's not like you're just, you know, you bring players in, you watch video, you do all this stuff. But more than that, like you said, hey, you know what? You think you're going hard? Watch Nevaeh in this drill right here. Freshmen, they notice that. And speaking on freshmen, look at that.
Zaya Van off the tip deflection by Peyton Verhulst.
You know what, Chad? And we've seen this, you and I doing games together. There's certain guys and girls and there's certain players that they just get it. And they have it. And Zaya Van, you watch her play, she has it.
26-9 Oklahoma. Taylor Jackson, that's a 2-pointer. And Liz Scott with the quick rebound.
Head Nizer up.
The Van sisters on the floor together. Skylar off the mark with that one. Skylar Van has not scored yet. That nice save by Liz Scott And up over the top goes Kirsten Johnson for the deuce.
And again, a very nice pass right there by Zaya Van, and she seems to always have her fingerprints on different plays that are taking place in this game, and Coach Baranczyk knows what she's talking about, doesn't she?
She does. As we get the foul on Zaya Van, and Coach Baranczyk was asked about Skylar and Zaya, and just as you said earlier, three-time state champion was Zaya Van, Bethany High School in Oklahoma, OKC metro area, but she said, you know, if you were around them, you almost wouldn't know they're sisters. She said, I don't even think Skylar gives Zaya rides.
That was funny to hear her say that.
Liz Scott gets her hands on that one, and here comes Zaya Van. Over the top, Kirsten Johnson. That's easy money right there. Lob it up to a 6'3" post who can really run the floor.
Deja vu. Zaya Van to KJ. Get used to that, Chad. And that was a really good job of using that link by Kirsten.
We talk about Kirsten Johnson. If you line up all these players and have a sprint contest from one end of the floor to the other, there's a good chance she's going to win it.
Yes, I wouldn't want any parts of that. You or I, Chad, we might blow something out. So trying to raise KJ 94 feet.
Cullum got trapped on the baseline. Shot clock is at 2. A little ball screen, and Bradley got it away. There's Skylar Van. Kirsten Johnson has that one poked away, and it will roll out of bounds. Sooners will get a reset. 8 seconds utilized on the shot clock.
Chad, I'll tell you something that we really haven't talked about enough right now, but OU's dialed in. I mean, they're dialed in on the defensive end. They're pulling the nails out of the floor. Oklahoma Christian shooting 18.8% right now, and the Sooners are making them fight for their lives on this end.
Skylar Van a little strong with that one. There's a good box out underneath by CeCe Harris to keep Liz Scott off the glass. Bradley with a 3. That's good.
That is what she does, and that was a great job. Head and eyes up, but look at that. Don't blink.
Because you get beat. Skylar Van with her first field goal of the night.
That is OU basketball right there. What we just witnessed, made field goal, pitch ahead, one dribble, another pass, layup right there. After it made field goal, Chad, you cannot blink when you play the Sooners. I say that jokingly, but you know what? You better be careful.
10 to shoot here for Oklahoma Christian. 20-point Oklahoma advantage. Nice little dish to Jackson, and she will earn a pair of free throws.
That was a really good job of that pick and roll right there. And you're right, CeCe Harris, you can tell that she is able to compete at a level, you know, playing against OU. And definitely when they start playing in the Lone Star Conference and start getting into the teams that they will play with, I expect big things out of CeCe. It's just like Coach Brown. I mean, he said it, like, we expect her to be a freshman to make plays for us, and now I see why. I mean, watching her right there, she looks like she belongs.
Taylor Jackson began her career at University of Texas. Tyler played there for a year and then transferred to Oklahoma Christian in 22-23, but sat out as she was coming back from an injury. He got healthy from that to be their second leading scorer last year.
Well, I love her energy, and Coach said she has 2 offensive rebounds a game in 19 minutes. I mean, that is active.
Skylar Van, mid-range game, a little turn and drop it home.
Looks so easy. That right shoulder turnaround, Jay, just kind of lulled him to sleep right there. It looked like I'm just going to casually bang this right shoulder, Jay, right here in the post.
She can just do so much. She's got that kind of mid-post game. She can shoot threes, crash the boards. As Beers pulls away another rebound. That's 7 rebounds for Reagan Beers in the first half. Skylar draws a double, scores out of it anyway. Now she's got it cooking on offense.
She can, I mean, that's the thing. They're going to come at you in waves. There's going to be different nights that different players step up for OU, but there's going to be different stretches of the game, like we're watching right now. Skylar's in that heat up right now.
Verhulst kicks that pass attempt. Jordan trying to dump it into the low post.
I feel like Sahara Williams started, you know, the game in a little bit of a heater. All of a sudden, you know, Lexi Keys can come in and make 2 or 3. I mean, Oklahoma just, I call it the buffet. We've talked about it. It's sitting the Golden Corral either, Chad. I mean, this is high-level buffet. You got a lot of different things that you can choose from with players for the Sooners.
Like that one, Lexi Keys. Lexi Keys led Oklahoma in steals last year, 51 of them. Climbing to the rim is Sahara Williams again.
A little Euro with the left to right Euro step and a high and soft finish right there off the glass. Big time play by the former McDonald's All-American.
That's 8 points for Sahara Williams. In fact, she leads everybody in scoring tonight.
I guess you're never a former. You're always a McDonald's All-American.
Yeah, you can always say that. I had Ronald's seal of approval.
Head and eyes up. Look at Verhulst.
Beautiful dump back by Sahara Williams, and Verhulst gets the easy conversion.
That is beautiful basketball. That is OU Sooner basketball right there at its finest. When that ball, I mean, once that ball hits the rim, and you don't want to turn it over because those live ball turnovers, you better just put your track shoes on because they're coming up your back.
A three strong out of the hands of Bradley. Here comes Verhulst. Verhulst can and will play the point guard spot for this team.
1 through 4.
That one creeps off for Reagan Beers. Now transition for Oklahoma Christian, but Beers got the double team. Jump hook is a little off the mark by Riley Trammell. She's a freshman from up the road in Mustang, Oklahoma. Keys in and out with her three. Lexi Keys, another one of those pieces. She's got more of a voice this year with the Sooners. This was all new to her last year. She was transferring in here from Oklahoma State. Bradley knocks down another three. That's the second made three of the night for Oklahoma Christian, both by Bradley.
Right off that horn set right there, that high post screen. Bradley coming off in rhythm right there. 1-2. Speaking on 1-2 in rhythm, boom.
The answer for Peyton Verhulst.
They just do not stop that offensive pressure, Chad. That is like, you talk about defensive pressure. Oklahoma is offensive pressure in such a big way, but not to be outdone tonight. On the defensive end, they, again, pulling the nails out of the floor. Although that was not great ball screen coverage, a little bit in the drop, got a little low.
Verhulst from way downtown this time. Back-to-back threes by Peyton Verhulst, and her third of the night.
If we talk about different players getting into those heat ups and just coming at you in waves like the Sooners, that time, Peyton Verhulst.
Timeout, Oklahoma Christian. The Sooner lead swelling to 30. 7 made threes for Oklahoma.
I mean, look at this. Head and eyes are always up. This is the 1-2 Euro by Sahara Williams, high and soft off the glass. Lexi Keys' fingerprints all over this game. And this is like, I mean, you can't draw it up any better than that. Sooners up 30. That's an old saying. They share the ball, and now they're really digging into this defensive end because you know they can score.
Beatrice Culleton has entered the Oklahoma lineup for the first time. As Nevaeh Tot sprints with the rebound. Baseball whips it ahead to Scott, and that one will go the other way.
Chad, who's in charge of keeping track of who's in the game? Because that person's busy right now because the Sooners just keep them coming. And we talked about it earlier. There's no drop-off. I mean, any given night, and this is what Coach Baranczyk really talked about, that she has different lineups and different things she's going to play with and take looks at, and that's what we're witnessing right now.
And how much can that also, we talk about the way that it impacts on the offensive end. How about defensively? The impact of having so many who can go in and compete for numerous stretches.
Well, biggest thing is this, too. If that bench over there, like, if you don't go out there and compete and play on the defensive end like Coach has been demanding and asking you to do, guess what? There's someone sitting over here that will go in and play hard. So that is motivation, and that gets you out there and play as hard as these Sooners are playing right now on the defensive end.
Yeah, I think it was the late Bob Knight who said the bench sends a message to the brain through the placing of the behind on the bench, right? That you get the message through.
That bottom will tell you to play hard when it's sitting over there on the side, won't it?
Basila putting it on the deck. Sooners surround and collapse on her. Raina Scott is into the Oklahoma lineup.
That was Beatrice Culleton right there with the block.
Look at that. Look at the footwork. The Euro from Liz Scott. She says, I was working on that in the offseason when I couldn't do non-contact things.
How about that big smile on Liz Scott's face right there? Like, man, it feels good to be back.
You know, that was still present even throughout the rehab last year, was that smile. As Williams swats that ball out of bounds.
Sooners are running through that double. And we talk about Oklahoma Christians in this horns action right there in the high post. They come off the ball screen, then they're doubling away, and it's a continuous double. Kind of a double. My old scouting report hat's coming in right here. As soon as they're shooting the gap and trying to run through that, they've kind of got a feel for that action now.
You know, if you're a coach in pregame and you're having to draw things up as Nevaeh Tott's going to scrape up this loose change and convert it, you got to arrive at the arena a little earlier because your time at the blackboard in the pregame when you're going down the whiteboard for Oklahoma, it's a lengthy scouting report.
Because they're all going to play.
Yeah.
Like you and I, like we talked, Chad, and there's no drop-off. I mean, there's any given night, you could have the 12th person on that scouting report rattle off 15, 16 points. How many teams in the country can say that? Not many. I'll answer that one.
Pape back in there for Oklahoma Christian. This is Basila. She's from Paris. Spent some time at Vincennes University prior to her arrival at Oklahoma Christian.
Vincennes, Indiana. I've been to Vincennes, Chad. Can you say that? Have you been to Vincennes?
I cannot, but I have been to Paris. Not Texas, actually both.
I was going to say, yeah, I think I've been to both as well. I've been to Paris, Texas a few more times. So.
Me too. Shuffling the
travel.
Yeah, CeCe Harris called for shuffling the deck there.
Travel cops are out in preseason. They're getting warmed up and ready for it as well. Those happy feet by CeCe Harris.
Oklahoma's season opener will be on Monday here at the Lloyd Noble Center. It'll be a doubleheader with the Sooner men. Porter Moser's team is going to play the late game at 8 o'clock, and the Sooner women will play Southern Monday night. You and I will be here for that real season tip-off.
Looking forward to it, Chad.
And Scott squares and fires.
A little turn and face right there in the mid-post. Look at her. She said, my fault. A little short. That's the old pulled her head back and came up a little short right there on the turnaround J.
Under a minute and a half to play in the first half. Oklahoma in the midst of a 10-0 run. They had an 18-0 run in the first quarter to distance themselves as Nakia Cullum pulls up and drops one home for Oklahoma Christian.
I'm telling you what I do. And Kate Bradley, she is kind of the quarterback of this team right now. I know we're still in football season, Chad, so we'll do a little gridiron talk. She's the quarterback, and she makes things go for this group.
Step back three for Raina Scott this time. And with under a minute left, here come the Eagles with Kate Bradley at the controls. Pape launches. And a held ball between Raina Scott and Nakia Cullum. Possession arrow heads the other way with Oklahoma. An 18 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at some off-the-floor activities for Oklahoma. They're competitive both on the court and off the court. A pizza-making contest. We'll see who's better, Skylar Vann or Peyton Verhulst. Good defensive rotation, but Taylor Jackson will be whistled for the foul, and Beatrice Culleton shoots a pair for the Sooners.
That was a really good rotation by Jackson on that pick and roll right there off that slot area. We're going to see it. Pick, roll. Great read. Put just enough air in. Yeah, I think she did. I think Jackson got Beatrice right there on the arm a little bit. Great roll, though. That was a really impressive feed because usually when you put that much air under that ball, someone's going to get it, and she almost, again, that risk management right there. I think she was thinking that out. She said, I got it, and she was right.
Beatrice Culleton, her first 2 points of the night. Just another piece for Jenny Baranczyk, the 6'3" junior from Overland Park, Kansas.
Only shot 56% from the free throw line.
There goes Pape, taking off the blow by for two.
You know what? Cambry Pape, I had to give her a shout out from Wagner, Oklahoma, one of my all-time favorites, Dante Swanson. I coached him at the University of Tulsa. He's the head coach for the boys basketball team, but can't talk about Wagner without talking about Dante.
And Liz Scott will get a trip to the foul line.
Representing for Wagner, Chad. Yeah, I do not know the Wagner. You know the mascot for Wagner? Bulldogs?
Yes.
Ha, okay. Repping for the Bulldogs right there, Paul Pay.
Parents were both good players as well. She'll check out of the game. That's the way her dad, Richard, used to do it back in the day.
Richard, if you're at home, well, he's probably here tonight, so Chad's bragging on you, man.
And Scott bangs her way in. Rimmed out, though. And time expires on a good first half for the Oklahoma Sooners. 32-point advantage. Nevaeh Tot leading the charge. 8 points. She made a couple of threes in a very balanced attack.
What can you not say about that, Chad? That was a very impressive 20 minutes.
10 different Sooners scored. They made 7 threes. And the halftime lead is 32 in exhibition play at the Lloyd Noble Center. So quickly, even scoring on a layup on the other end off a made basket by the opposition.
You cannot blink, Chad. And one of the things we talked about at the half, 28-0 in fast break points and like paint points, 26-8. But they also made 7 threes as well. So what do they not? Well, I guess I'll say the one thing they did not do was make free throws in the first half. Outside of that, there wasn't a lot else that they did not do well.
Oklahoma Christian first touch to start the second half. A little pull up and pop that's off the mark for Cullum. Beers with another rebound. Sahara Williams runs the floor. Little ball fake and an easy conversion off a long pass by Nevaeh Tot.
Well, that is one other thing that I would say. I'm sure Coach Brown had talked about defensive balance. And when I say defensive balance, when you take a shot, sometimes against OU, you might send 2 players back. Usually it's your point guard that gets back in transition to set your defense. But against the Sooners, you could actually send 2 back. Like right now, you ought to be sprinting.
That was a crunching screen set by Francisco to set up Caitlin Jordan for the bucket.
Chad, you know what you call that? I'll tell you here in a second after Reagan hits that shot in the paint. They call that a bug on a windshield. And that time, who was the bug right there that ran into that windshield? Was that Nevaeh Tot?
May have been.
You don't want to be the bug on the old bug on the windshield, though, Chad.
You do not.
You'd rather be the windshield.
Shot clock under 10. This is Taylor Jackson. And Reagan Beers collecting another rebound. That is 9 rebounds, 6 points for the Oregon State transfer. That hit Sahara Williams on the noggin and then bounded out of bounds. You will live with a few of those turnovers, won't you, Pooh, if you get so much out of your transition game?
Yeah, I think Coach Bronchek would agree with you on that, Chad. I mean, that's one of those ones that you don't want to get too loose, but again, you're trying to make a play for a teammate. I think Coach likes that.
Francisco can't dial it from downtown. It's Sahara Williams with a full head of steam. To the paint. Beers there to collect it and score it, but how about Sahara Williams? That was coast to coast.
That really was with the right to left cross. And I don't know if she was thinking left-hand finish and she came back across her body with the right and came up a little short right there. But picking up the loose change was Reagan Beers.
And Beers is 2 points away from a double-double already. That one splashes home. The third made 3 tonight for Kate Bradley.
Tough player right there out of Bigsby. Bigsby Spartans right there. Representing in here, Kate Bradley.
Skylar Vann knocks down the 8th Oklahoma 3 of the night.
Skylar said, don't forget about me now. I was the Big 12 player of the year last year, and I'm capable of heating up at any time. And she was, I wouldn't say relaxing in the first half because she's such an unselfish player.
That one stuck home by Cullum. So the kid Cullum dropping home the bucket. The offense a little more free-flowing for Oklahoma Christian.
It really is, and you can tell they made some adjustments.
Nice dump down from Beers to Skylar Vann for the easy bucket.
Very good interior passing right there by Reagan Beers to Skylar, the 2 all-SEC players. And, you know, Reagan averaged just under 2 assists last year at Oregon State, so she's capable of making plays with that ball in the post.
Jackson off the mark with that. Here comes Nevaeh Tot. Trying to whip it down court. Sahara Williams will have to track it down. Good extra pass to Skylar Vann. And she drops home another.
That one more pass by Peyton Verhulst was so impressive, yet so simple. And one of the things I talked about the possession prior to this, Chad, with Reagan Beers, Reagan draws so much attention, and she's doubled so much playing with this OU team. I bet you that 1.6 assists a game that she had last year at Oregon State, that number will go up this year.
16 assists for Oklahoma now as Caitlin Jordan lands a jump hook from about 16. Spin move, Sahara Williams blocked, but a foul. As Taylor Jackson rotated over for Oklahoma Christian.
She did. That's the second time on a block. I think Taylor gets a little excited, and she almost went vert, hands back. You'll hear me say all the time. Coaches always emphasize when you start to come forward like Taylor did right there, even though she was there early, that that she brought ends up getting that foul called on you.
So she will head over to Keith Brown's bench. That is the third foul on Taylor Jackson. So 2 free throws here. The first good for Sahara Williams. Solid exhibition night for Sahara Williams, and you just see she has really worked on so many elements of her game.
She looks more comfortable with the ball in her hands. And Coach Baranczyk did talk about her just being like, I used to refer to it sometimes like watching, you know, when you put some WD-40 on something, you loosen up a little bit. Just watching her, it's like she put the old WD-40 this summer and went to work with it, Chad, because she is very fluid.
And Kia Cullum with another field goal.
I like the Eagles this second half offensively.
A lane wide open, and the window for Sahara Williams.
Again, a made field goal, Chad. The Eagles get a made field goal, and the Sooners get a layup within 4 seconds, kind of like the old Carolina back when Dean Smith was the coach. He talked about that 4-second layup. Sooners definitely have a lot of that in their game.
Sahara Williams got 13 points in this one. There's Liz Scott. Zaya Van to the running Skylar Van. Liz Scott in a big collision in there with Adikia Basila. Turnover Sooners.
Van to Van. Let's see how many times we get that one today.
Liz Scott swats that one away from Basila. Sahara Williams runs the floor and gets another easy one.
They are just passing that ball, and they're so unselfish. That possession prior with Oklahoma Christian, who's been doing a much better job in the half court in their offense, but you cannot feed the post from up here in the slot, Chad. I always say, unless you can see that player's numbers, which you could not. And that time Zaya got away with an old pickpocket from behind there.
Up 40, Liz Scott still getting on the floor. Zaya Van's shot blocked. Skylar took it back. Sooners gonna work it around a little bit. Zaya Van left wide open. And that'll be off of.
I thought it went off Kate Bradley. Let's see.
I think it did.
I did too.
Referees are going to confer. Angelica Suffern and Douglas Knight. They will send it the other way, and we've got an injured Oklahoma Christian player down there, CeCe Harris.
Oh. Let's hope she's okay down here, Chad.
We will check on her after we step aside for timeout. There is the play on which CeCe Harris was injured. I don't know if it happens here or when she comes down, she kind of fell over into the table. Well, that looks a lot better.
Yeah, she's, you know what? I always say these youngsters, they bounce back a little quicker, and good to see CeCe Harris right there with a smile on her face, and she looks okay. That's good.
And speaking of bounce back, Oklahoma Christians got 5 field goals already here in the third quarter. They had 7 in the entire first half.
No, they've been much more comfortable on this end. Right here working that flex action on that pin down.
And Beers with the block and the takeaway on Basila.
And then some skill right here by Reagan.
Kirsten Johnson lining it up and drilling the 10th Oklahoma made 3 tonight.
That was a great swing. One more right there by Zaya to KJ, and Coach Baranczyk says that KJ put time in this summer, and you can tell she looks much more comfortable behind that arc.
Look at this lineup with Kirsten Johnson out at the head of the defense at about 6'3". You have Culleton and you have Beers out there as well. That is an ultra tall lineup.
6'3", 6'3". No, I'm sorry. 6'3", 6'4", 6'4", Chad. You have a lot of size and length. And then with KJ, like you said, you have speed and athleticism. And right here, they're switching these screens right here. A lot of switching by the Sooners. Have to communicate when you do that.
Double team here. Basila backs away, and Beers took it away.
Beers is hosting a block party in the Lloyd Noble tonight. And Culleton right there.
A rim run comes up empty, but she retrieves it. High-low action. Beers fouled. So many combinations that Jennie Baranczyk can play.
Well, we talked about it, and this right here was Beers bringing it up, and you had the swing right there with the one more by Zaya, and we talked about KJ, who is capable of doing that now. She only made one of those last year. She was 1 for 9 from the three-point line. Again, I expect that number to increase this season.
So Reagan Beers been a very good opening night in a Sooner uniform. Point.
Well, she only averaged 18 and 10 last year for the year, so it's just like another day at the office for the preseason All-SEC player Reagan Beers.
And she has 3 blocked shots on the defensive end. Beers.
And you know what, Chad, you and I talked about this earlier, and Coach Baranczyk mentioned it as well. The more she plays and the more the season progresses and she gets used to this pace, she's only going to get better, which is scary, by the way.
And rim protection and allows, as you said, everybody else to be a little more comfortable.
Well, it does. You can get out, and they are more aggressive in those passing lanes, and you can do things right here. The Sooners love to, like, zone that thing up on the underneath out of bounds.
Pape a little off the mark with that one. Rebound batted around. Basila picks it up but can't finish. She'll get another crack, and this one is good.
Put it up high and soft off the glass. Basila right there picking up the loose change in the post there. And that's one of those plays where Zaya Van will learn, Chad. She was very casual on the rebound, and at Bethany, she's probably able to get away with that. But now, I mean, it's only going to go up. You're playing in the SEC, and we know this is an exhibition game against Oklahoma Christian, but those are the little things as a freshman. Again, I didn't have to worry about that. When I was a freshman, I had more of that time with my bottom on the chair over there. But you learn those things as you play.
The Vans in action there. Skylar can't convert inside.
I was just going to say something, and Sky missed that one in there, but I was going to say, when they're in together, do you call Zaya the minivan? all right, I'm going to leave it alone. I stop.
That's okay. I was about to say, I know the preferred method of travel would be.
Sooners love this action out of this high post. Look at this action. They're just cutting, moving. 5 out will come into 4 out, 1 in. Okay. High-low.
Culleton, strong move to the bucket. There's Skylar Van. No. Swatted out of bounds. It'll stay here on this end.
I think Sky might have gotten away with a little forearm shiver right there to the back. And I'm not a great official. I always say that. You've heard me say that many times. I have a lot of players complain.
From over here, you're good. You are good.
I haven't missed any calls over here, Chad.
Not that I've seen.
Hadn't lost any games either, by the way. A few less gray hairs coming up. It's a little relaxing over here, right?
It is. I've loved it. Verhulst to the cutting Liz Scott. Sooners missing a few chippies here, but not that one.
Again, picking up the loose change right there. Liz Scott, good to see her back in here with a smile on her face, doing what she does. Again, 15 double-doubles the last season that she did play. So what she's doing now is what she does.
2 buckets tonight. Just cleared for full contact practice in September, coming off that shoulder surgery that sidelined her last year. There's Pape launching. And Scott retrieves. Aubrey Jones back in the lineup. Under a minute left here in the third. Oklahoma 78-33. Aubrey Jones all the way in, fouled by Cullum. And 2 free throws coming here for Aubrey Jones.
Chad, we're talking about Liz Scott being back after missing all of last season, being an assistant coach last year. Little Moses Malone, you hear me say that? Put it up on the glass and go get it. And she did average 2 offensive rebounds a game the year before last in the 22-23 season. So she does have those sticky fingers and goes and cleans up all that loose change.
Liz Scott also only played 7 games her freshman year due to injuries. She's had the better part of 2 seasons missed as an Oklahoma Sooner, but so good to have her back as Aubrey Jones is able to stick those free throws.
Well, when the season started last year, Oklahoma Christian fires that. Liz Scott was on the Lisa Leslie preseason watch list. So that tells you the caliber of player that she is. And again, just another luxury of Eugenie Baranczyk, having her start games on the sideline, but knowing that she can get a double-double for you.
Aubrey Jones, a corner 3. That's money.
Give Aubrey Jones the 3-point shot, but give Liz Scott that flare screen. She said, if we get a chance to see that again, she made that play with the flare screen that led to Aubrey getting that open corner 3. And when she gets that, she's going to splash it.
Oklahoma just blistering hot from 3-point range tonight. 10 seconds remaining in the third. And Raina Scott fouled out front. A little shot to the chops. CeCe Harris is having a tough go of it here in this third quarter.
Really is. I caught that too, Chad. CeCe got a little shot above the shoulders there.
Raina Scott.
A little shoulder to the shoulder got her. Those do not feel very well.
Checking the nose and the teeth there.
Make sure everything's intact.
Oklahoma, by the way, 11 of 22 from 3-point range, and that's going to change right here. Well, it went the wrong direction. Put back by Verhulst. Liz Scott at the horn.
Counts. Count it.
It will count.
Hey, you know what, Chad? That is some stick-to-itiveness right there by the Sooners. I mean, think about it. That says a lot about them. They just they do not stop. And great job by Liz Scott doing what she does.
Capping a 33-point third period. Liz Scott with the buzzer beater.
Count it. Close, though. Closer than I thought when it was live. Let's see it again.
They're going to look at it, but I got a feeling it's going to be a 52-point lead headed to the fourth for the Sooners.
Rid of it, but you know what? That's just the Sooners being tenacious, and, man, look at those stats, Chad.
Sahara Williams with 15, 6 of 11 from the field. Nakia Cullum leading the way for Oklahoma Christian, and 11 Oklahoma threes. 12 players have played for the Sooners. 11 of them have scored. But I've got a feeling that that is going to be a constant occurrence for this team.
That will be a theme for this season, Chad.
Peyton Verhulst attacks and earns a couple of free throws.
That was impressive because that was that same exact move.
A season ago, Peyton Verhulst had a great year and just such a barometer. Jenny Baranczyk said, we'll go as she goes, and can play anywhere. As you said earlier, she can run the point. She could play your power forward spot if you wanted her to.
She can do it all, and she makes it look easy. I mean, she's so fluid, and she's, you know, a better defensive player than you think, too. She does it all. She is an impressive I'm impressed every time I watch her play, and she does something that surprises me, and I shouldn't be surprised, Chad. Great job by the Sooners. They call that a veer switch. That was a late switch if we ever get a chance to take a peek at that. But that's just 2 veteran players with Nevaeh Tot and Liz Scott making that veer switch.
Well, that foul will be the first on Liz Scott. She's getting a little explanation from Douglas Knight. See the Sooners plus 26 in the rebound category. And the first free throw is up and good. 87-34. Just such a nice thing for Division II basketball in the state of Oklahoma to have this stage. And Markeith Brown was telling us, actually has 3 players on the roster who played in the state tournament here, high school-wise, at the Lloyd Noble Center last spring.
I thought that was funny. He said one of his mentors, Coach Jason Burton, who's the head coach at North Texas, one of his assistants is a former Sooner, Brittany Brown, and he said he sent her a text message with a picture of him being here in the Lloyd Noble just to let her know he was in her old stomping grounds.
Yeah, Brittany Brown was on Sherry Cole's staff for a period as well at Oklahoma. And looks like Liz Scott's okay. I mean, every time she hits the deck,
I know.
Your breath goes away for just a second.
I know, because it's just good to see her back out here with that smile on her face, and she brings so much to this Sooner program and this team. And so you're right, she's missed a lot of balls, so you want to keep her upright and not down on the deck there as one of the mops there wiping up, sweeping the floor.
Skylar Vann, good inbounds action, creates a wide open mid-range bucket.
Great pass right there by Raina Scott, and that was a really smart play by Skylar that just found the soft spot. And then Skylar has 14 points, Chad, in 18 minutes. I mean, when did she score 14 points? Did I miss? Did I blink? What did I miss?
She hadn't scored in about the first 8 minutes of the game, and now she's got 14. And we've got a timeout. Oklahoma on top, 89-35. Exhibition action, fourth quarter at the Lloyd Noble Center on SEC Network Plus. Year number 4 for Jenny Baranczyk as Oklahoma Sooner head coach. They've advanced to round number 2 of the NCAA tournament in her 3 prior years. Back-to-back Big 12 championships and 23 wins or more in all 3 seasons prior.
Chad, 74 wins, 3 years. I'm going to go ahead and round up and say 25 wins a year. That's, I mean, you're up there in some rare air. And you know what? The scary thing, and Coach Baranczyk, her goals are higher. I mean, and you know what? She's got the group right now to do just that this season.
Sooners number 10 preseason ranking is their highest since 2010. See a trip to the foul line here. And a good night for Taylor Jackson of Oklahoma Christian, redshirt junior out of McKinney, Texas. As we said, she started her collegiate career at University of Texas Tyler. Gritty player, left-handed energy and rebounds is what she provides this team.
Tell you what, she's 2 offensive rebounds we talk about in the 19 minutes a game that she played last year. That just tells you that she's one of those Energizer Bunny type players, and expect her to do some big things for Coach Brown and the Eagles this season. Sooners love to play off that high post.
Verhulst lines up another from deep and hits it again.
How easy does that look on the skip pass right over to Peyton Verhulst, where she shot 35% from the three-point line last year, shooting almost 5 of them per game.
She's 4 of 5 from three-point range tonight. And Oklahoma as a team is 12 for 24.
Just such a weapon.
Taylor Jackson, that's a 2 that rims in.
A little jab, 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 pull up right there by Taylor Jackson.
She's got 7 points, also playing with 4 fouls, trying to avoid disqualification late in this one.
They keep switching that little back screen right there.
Knocked away in there by Harris, and then a foul on the back end of it.
Liz Scott that time was instead of being the recipient of the mop or being the floor mop, that time she ended up making someone else the mop that time. Liz always seems to have that smile on her face, though, doesn't she?
Didn't mean to do it. As the Sooners shuffle the lineup once again. Beers and Kirsten Johnson in with Culleton again. The 3 players 6'3" or taller.
This is that exact same lineup that Coach played a little earlier. We talked about the 6'4", 6'4", 6'3". Then you also have both Zaya and watch right here. They're more in sort of a matchup. So this is different things you play with this time of the year. This is kind of a 2-3-ish zone. They're kind of matching up out of it.
Lexi Keys got a hand up on that try by Taylor Jackson. Beers ignites the transition the other way. Culleton from Beers. And look at Zaya Van cut to the right spot and get the pass from Beers.
Just knowing how to play. And then I also talked about Reagan Beers makes the game easier for her teammates because she draws so much attention and back in the zone right now. And you're going to have to see a lot of communication. At that time, there was not a lot of talk, and Zaya got banged with the flare screen.
She's just a gamer, Zaya Van is. Lights come on, roll the ball out there, and she's going to go get after it.
She has it, Chad. I mean, that's one of those things where not everyone has it, and she does. And look at her right there. Just finds the soft spot. Zaya Van and the minivan right there from Reagan Beers, and basket.
Kirsten Johnson angles one up and in. She's got 9 points tonight off the bench.
KJ, she does. KJ makes it look easy. She's got, look, what'd you say? 9 points in 7 minutes, Chad. She's making the most. She's efficient, very efficient. And Zaya's going to get tagged with a few fouls reaching behind right now. And you learn.
And Zaya Van gets bumped on her way to the basket this time. It's the 4th team foul against Oklahoma Christian, so no free throws. Beers' ability to put it on the deck that time, got her own miss, and back up and in.
Look at those soft mitts, though. Did you see her just gobble that, just squeeze that offensive rebound? And she is skilled, very, very skilled from out of that high post nail area. She can take it left or right, and she loves that left hand over the right shoulder.
This is a double-double machine that maybe the Lloyd Noble Center hasn't seen since number 3 was running up and down the court for Sherry Cole.
I saw your eyes go up to the left there, and I was in your head, Chad. I knew you were thinking about because of a few similarities between the two, I would say.
Beers got bumped from behind, and she goes down. Look on her face. It was not pleasant as she was bumped in there.
I'm looking at Coach Baranchek's face, too, as I think she's okay, which is a good thing to see Reagan with the 12 points.
It's the 3rd foul on Jordan Francisco.
15 rebounds, by the way.
And that is 12 points for Reagan Beers with that miss. Oklahoma, they've really gone from last year with Liz Scott out, no Reagan Beers. They've gone from no post-up type of player to 2 posts who want the ball. They want to go in there, post hard, and get it. And Jenny Baranchek was saying, with Reagan Beers, she said, that's good. We want you being a little more selfish and assertive. That's a good thing for all of us.
And she's right. She knows her group. And I'll add to that, Chad. One of the things I asked Coach Baranchek about was, with Reagan Beers, the Sooners play at such an up-tempo pace. Would that affect it? And she said, no, because Reagan can get out and run just like Beatrice, who took a couple of extra little excitement right there. Rim running to the rack was Beatrice Culleton, and got a little excited.
Hard to blame her. But the deuce was at hand and just didn't quite get the feet set right.
To finish my thought from earlier, though, Coach Baranchek said, and we've seen it twice tonight, where Reagan can rebound the ball and literally initiate the break herself. I mean, we've seen her get it and put it on the deck, and Coach Baranchek says she wants her to do that.
Reagan Beers having a good night in her Sooner exhibition debut. 12 points and 15 boards. Oklahoma leads 98-40. It is a debut double-double for Reagan Beers, the third-team All-American transfer from Oregon State a year ago, and she has added 3 blocks to go with 12 points and 15 rebounds. A lot to like about Reagan Beers tonight.
A lot to like about number 52 for the Sooners. Getting that deep touch right there to kick this game off. Left hand over that right shoulder. That is what she does. 3 offensive rebounds a game last season. You just mentioned, Chad, how active she was. We've seen that left hand over the right shoulder. That time she went
15 boards and the 3 blocks, rim protection. Such a big deal to know that at all times back there, you've got someone that can erase any mistake you might have made defensively. Now, you don't want to rely upon it, but it's nice to know it's there.
Well, no question. You don't want to get out and get so aggressive that you have bodies flying at her and she's in foul trouble. But when you have someone on the back end like that, you can be more aggressive on the perimeter.
Midway through the fourth, all Oklahoma tonight. Sahara Williams is back in there. Sooners have 4 double-digit scorers in this game. There's Kirsten Johnson posting, spinning, and scoring. That happened in the blink of an eye.
So good. But she came off that back screen, Kirsten did, and just a quick drop step and used that body of hers, that long, lanky frame, and went left hand over that right shoulder.
Sahara Williams with an arm up above everybody to rip that one away. Shovels it to Johnson. Count the basket and a foul.
The Sooners being the Sooners right there. And that, I mean, Sahara, I said it, that WD-40, I was joking and how agile she is. And she's leaned up a little bit, according to Coach Baranczyk. And she was fast last year, but she might be a little closer to KJ in that foot race you were talking about, Chad, because Sahara was really aggressive in transition right there with that pass to KJ.
Coming downhill was Sahara Williams that time.
And a nice little shovel right there. And KJ being about as efficient as you can be with 13 in 9 minutes. 13 points, 9 minutes.
She is the 5th double-figure scorer tonight for the Sooners. And the Sooners' century mark of 102 points now.
And we've got 4 minutes to go, Chad. So that 27 assist total might be at 30, I'm guessing.
Long three-pointer out of the hand of Harris, no good. Out of the scramble, the Eagles will get another crack as Cullum scrapes it up. Hemmed in on the baseline, but finding her way to the basket is Harris.
That was some twinkle toes right there, man. There's another assist. That was Raina Scott right there, just making it look easy. And Sahara adding to her point total right now. It's not a lot that these Sooners don't do well, Chad.
17 for Sahara Williams tonight to lead all scorers. A little strong from Harris this time. Offensive rebound and back up. Eva Kialar.
Nice job using her body by Eva right there on that long shot, which, as we said, produces long rebounds. You will hear me say that throughout the season. Long shots produce long rebounds, and that wedge rebound by Eva Kialar right there using her body.
So Kialar to the foul line. She's from Poland, grad student, began her career at Western Carolina University, and this kind of gives the Eagles a new presence in the post. Markeith Brown told us.
They mentioned she was an inside-out player that can step out on the floor. You see that free throw stroke look very comfortable right there, putting it up.
1 of 2 there. And as we approach 3 minutes to play, we see the other Sooner freshman into the lineup. Kaya Smith from Oklahoma City, Putnam City West High School. She and Zaya Van, the lone freshman for Jenny Baranczyk this year. There she is underneath, and that is out of bounds off of Kaya Smith.
Well, that was something, Chad, we didn't really talk about yet, but, you know, it says a lot about the culture of your program in this day and age when you don't lose players. The Sooners had, obviously, one graduate, but they didn't lose anyone that said, the grass is going to be greener. You know what? The grass is pretty green right here in Norman, Oklahoma, playing for Coach Jenny Baranczyk, and there's a reason they all stuck around.
Without question. A lot of it is the culture. They have a new integrated performance team approaches. Aubrey Jones wiggles her way to the bucket for another.
I don't think Kate Bradley agreed with that call by Douglas Knight, but he has the stripes, and you got to live with it.
The rip there by Aubrey Jones.
Great job using her body. And that was Cece that got the foul, but her teammate was I like to call them locker room lawyers there. Kate Bradley being the leader of the group, she went up and said, hey, that wasn't a foul.
That could get expensive.
Douglas is saying, hold up here now.
Hey, this is an exhibition. Just want to make sure that we're ready and we got everything straight.
We're all warming up, right? We're all practicing.
I know I am.
You and me both, Chad. You and me both.
2:34 left. Was mentioning the integrated performance team that Oklahoma has. It's a kind of a new school meets old school approach. Off the floor, strength and conditioning, a holistic approach, mental health and nutrition, all those things combined just to make the student-athlete experience even better. University of Oklahoma, all these resources, and Jennie Baranczyk wanting them to take advantage of it.
Well, without a question. And Coach Baranczyk, she is such a player's coach. I mean, who wouldn't want to play as another assist total right there, adding to that assist total with Raina Scott finding KJ, and KJ is stat stuffing in her 12 minutes.
That she is, especially the points column on the stat sheet.
16 of them, Chad. And guess what? She's only missed one shot. And a lot of them have been from the high percentage mark right there, right under the basket, but she's earned them.
She's only played 11 minutes as well. Nice retrieval there by Basila. Kirsten Johnson claims that miss for the Sooners with under 2 minutes left.
Cece Harris was almost in the line of fire again.
She's had her nose in the middle of it, though. This is Culleton as the shot clock plays under 10. Aubrey Jones cans that one.
There is one more assist to go with that made three-point shot. And Sooners doing what they do. They shoot at a big basket almost all night long, Chad.
We've got a timeout taken here by Oklahoma Christian just to get some substitutes into the game. It looks like at this point, make sure all these players get a chance to play here at the Lloyd Noble Center. Oklahoma 30 assists tonight on 44 made buckets. So here's a look at the AP Top 10 with 4 SEC teams up there. It's like Jennie Baranczyk said, how tough is the SEC? Well, we're number 10 in the country. We're picked 4th in our conference.
And I think if you keep going down, I think it's around 14 or 15. Ole Miss is right there, and they're picked 5th. So 5 in about the top 15. Are you kidding me? No nights off, Chad.
You add Oklahoma and Texas. Texas bringing in Madison Booker, who was selected preseason player of the year in the SEC. And what Dawn Staley's South Carolina team has done, well deserving of being picked as the preseason favorite. Jones splits a double team and scores again.
And Jones is known as a three-point sniper, where she shot about 4 of those per game last year, but she is getting a little more active and playing off the ball, with the ball, getting shots that are inside that three-point arc, as you see here tonight.
And she's into double figures now. 6 Sooners have scored double figures in this game. And Oklahoma shooting 58% from the field for the night.
Chad, we've witnessed 114 points, my man. I mean, that is, and to be honest, they make it look easy. And I think Oklahoma Christian is going to have a good year. Coach Brown was talking about how they kind of similar to when he was at Texas A&M Commerce for 7 years with Coach Jason Bird. Now they just built it up and they gradually got it where they want. And he's doing the same thing up in Edmond. And I think they're going to have a good year. But the Sooners, man, you're just running into a juggernaut. I mean, they just don't stop.
They don't. And with so many options the Sooners have. You saw Markeith Brown there. He said, he told us kind of emulate what they did at Texas A&M Commerce, and he's got about 85% of this roster players that he recruited. By next year, he'll have everybody in that he wanted, and he will be able to compete in that Lone Star Conference. Got about 5 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. I would say a pretty complete performance for Oklahoma. We'll visit with Jennie Baranczyk in the postgame and see how she feels about it, but so many options. We saw everybody on the roster play here tonight. 6 Sooners in double figures. And a great night from downtown. Won't be happy with that late turnover, but Raina Scott's going to be able to tick the rest of this clock away. And the lone exhibition contest for Oklahoma will be an easy win over in-state foe, the Oklahoma Christian Eagles, here at the Lloyd Noble Center tonight.
Chad, not sure what to say other than wow. That is the word that I would say. The Sooners making it look easy tonight. And Coach Baranczyk has a lot to work with.
A lot. She's a little away from home. You know, there's a lot of different areas of her game. We're saying, okay, guard a center this game. Okay, guard this person this game. And I think this summer, I think exactly what she said. I think she's worked her tail off. but she's brought her team along with her. I mean, we're different when she's on the floor. We're different when she's in practice. She doesn't take practice days off. And so that's been fun to be able to coach her. So the more we challenge her is because she has these natural leadership tendencies and these natural leadership qualities. But make no mistake, you still have to show up and use them. And she does.
We appreciate you both stopping by. Congratulations on the win. Go enjoy it with your teammates.
Thanks, everybody. Boomer.
That's Sahara Williams and head coach Jenny Baranczyk with us here as the Sooners capture an exhibition win, 114-47 over Oklahoma Christian. Season opener coming up Monday at 5 o'clock as Southern will be inside the Lloyd Noble Center. For Hoop and our great crew, I'm Chad McKee. We'll talk to you next time on SEC Network Plus.